Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a recorded sermon today that breaks down the really complex psychology of human loyalty.
Right, yeah, loyalty, free will, and why we actually choose to stick with a cause or just abandon it.
Exactly. And our mission today is to figure out what real commitment looks like when the honeymoon phase of a movement finally ends.
And to understand that, the source starts with this pretty striking geopolitical contrast. I mean, think about the US and Japan.
Right, the devastation of Pearl Harbor, the atomic bombings.
Yeah, history that should logically guarantee permanent hostility, right? But the source points to a photograph. And just to be perfectly clear to everyone listening, we are impartially reporting the source material here without taking any political sides.
Of course, yeah, just looking at the text.
Right, so the source highlights a photo of US President Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Sanada Takaichi shaking hands. Modern, close allies.
Yeah, and that massive tectonic shift, it doesn't just happen by accident. The source actually attributes that pivot to the raw power of human choice.
Exactly, because loyalty and enmity aren't permanent fixtures. They are active, daily decisions.
Which is wild to think about, but that exact mechanism of human choice bridges us directly into the main focus of this sermon, which is the Gospel of John.
Yeah, a text written decades after the other Gospels. And it was written specifically to look back and answer a really burning question for early believers.
Which is, why do some people stay when things get hard while others just walk away?
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the source starts with the ultimate crowd-pleasing moment, right? The feeding of the 5,000. Jesus provides a literal free lunch.
Very popular move.
Oh, totally. From a human behavior standpoint, it's basically the ancient equivalent of a tech startup in its early adopter phase.
Oh, I like that comparison.
Yeah, like when a new platform is free, it's frictionless, and the algorithm is just spoon-feeding you dopamine, everyone signs up.
Well, biologically, human beings are wired to conserve energy. We crave maximum benefit for minimum sacrifice. So providing those frictionless miracles scales a movement incredibly fast. But the source argues it builds a fragile consumer-based loyalty, not a mission-based one.
Right. So the second the app demands a paid subscription, or, in this case, the second Jesus stops handing out free bread and demands a deep, highly confusing spiritual commitment.
Yeah, telling them to literally eat his flesh.
Right. The massive user base just uninstalls the app.
They evaporated. I mean, the masses were only there for the comfortable perks.
Yeah.
When the dynamic shifted from this supernatural catering service to a challenging truth that required real personal sacrifice.
Yeah.
Their conditional loyalty just hit a wall.
So the massive crowd bails, and Jesus turns to the remaining 12 and asks, "Do you also want to go away?" And Peter steps up and says, "You have the words of eternal life."
Which, on paper, that is an A+ answer.
It really is. But the source immediately undercuts this by pointing out Peter's wild track record. I mean, 1 minute he gets a perfect score for calling Jesus the Christ.
Yeah, and moments later, Jesus is literally calling him Satan for trying to talk him out of suffering.
It's quite the whiplash.
It is. And what's fascinating here is how the source uses Peter to build a taxonomy of flawed followers. It basically breaks down 3 specific types of flawed loyalty.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is that Peter type. They are loud, fiercely protective, but they secretly prioritize human comfort over the actual mission.
Wait, calling Peter's instinct flawed feels a bit harsh, doesn't it? I mean, isn't wanting to protect your leader from suffering just basic human empathy? Why does the source classify that as a failure?
Well, because it attempts to dictate the terms of the mission based on what feels safe. The Peter type wants the glory of the movement without the sacrifice.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they are loyal to their personal idea of the leader, not the reality of the difficult path.
So they want to win, but they don't want to bleed. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. And then the source moves to the Judas type. Quiet, calculating, just hiding in the group to extract personal benefits behind the scenes.
Basically an opportunistic parasite.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the third type is where it gets really complex. The performative type.
Right.
These are the people doing loud public works, casting out demons, shouting, "Lord, Lord," but lacking any genuine, obedient connection to the core truth.
I actually have a question about that performative group. Do they actually know they're faking it? Or have they just completely deluded themselves into thinking doing flashy things equals actual loyalty?
The source implies it's often the latter. The human ego is just brilliant at masking self-interest as devotion.
Wow, yeah.
The performative follower equates busyness and public applause with true alignment. They convince themselves that because they are doing things for the cause, they are the cause.
Entirely bypassing the quiet, unseen obedience the mission actually requires.
Exactly.
Man, that is a brutal mirror to hold up. And, for you listening right now, it is a direct challenge to evaluate your own loyalty.
In your career, your relationships, your beliefs.
Right, like, are you staying loyal just for the free miracles and the easy perks?
Or are you committed to the core truth, even when it demands sacrifice and stops being comfortable?
Because we often assume our deepest devotions will only be broken by some massive dramatic tragedy or a shocking scandal.
Right, some huge event.
But what if the ultimate threat to your loyalty is simply boredom? What happens when the initial excitement fades, the miracles dry up, and all that is left is the quiet, unglamorous routine of showing up?
Are you still in?